Hi, uh, welcome again. It has been a break for me. I posted some videos and then I took off. In this video, I will take you through the evolution of languages, programming languages in particular. It is one of the videos in my series of programming videos. The title is Introduction to Programming. So when computers were invented first, people used to toggle switches, and then assembly language and punch cards came into existence. There were languages like Pascal and Fortran, and then C came, Algol, Lisp, Smalltalk. Several languages were invented. Let's consider the present scenario. There are tons of languages available. You can categorize languages in two types related to their execution. One is the compiled type and the second is interpreted type. Now, the major language in the compiled part are C and C++. C and C++ dominate the compiled portion. Hardly any other compiled language is ever used in a major real life application. On the interpreted side, Java, Python, PHP, Perl, Ruby, they dominate the market. So when you will start programming, like let's say a person who goes to college and or a school rather, let's say school, and you start learning programming, and it's also a question for teachers or schools, which language should they select for students, which is the best one. So C is safe in the sense that we will see why it is safe, and it is everywhere and available to many platforms. Any interpreted language which we discussed, Java, Python or PHP, Perl or Ruby, that interpreter itself is written in either C, major portion in C, or in C++. You take your operating systems, Windows or Mac OS, Solaris, HPUX, AIX, Linux. The basic core, the kernel and the most common utilities, they are written in C and C++. Now C++ is the child, I'll say child because C++ came later, is very good partner. You can combine both of them. You can use C for some portions and then you can use C++ for some portions. So who uses C++? We talked about C++ is a very good partner of C. So who uses C++? C++ is used by Google for its backend. Facebook, as we know, uses PHP, and then it uses a hip-hop compiler to translate the PHP code to C++, and then they further optimize it and they serve their backend. Similarly, Amazon does it for their backend. With C++, you can use object-oriented programming and generic programming. The advantage of object-oriented programming is code reuse, and generic programming gives you type independence. So your code becomes less and you can handle complex problems. People had a complaint that C++ is very difficult to write and correctly. It is still complex, but with modern stuff like Boost libraries or you say ACE libraries, it's very safe. One of the advantages of C and C++ is that there are tons of libraries available. You name a technology and it will be there. PDF, encryption, graphics, games, sound. You need an encoder, it's there. You need a decoder for audio video, it's there in C++. You want image manipulation, yes, it is there. You want a compiler, yes, of course, compilers are there obviously. You want a text editor written in C and C++, it is there. Tons tools are available in C and C++. And one of the advantages which is also there, that since C and C++ are quite old, the tools are mature, they have few bugs. So as I said, how it evolved, that you had toggling of switches, assembly language. Assembly language is not really a language. Assembly language is basically you use processor instructions and you type in text which your assembler assembles and it links to a library, and then you get your executable. There were Fortran, Pascal, Lisp, Smalltalk, Simula, and so on, Algol, Ada, but they were never dominant. These still exist, but they never dominated the market. Now, why C was popular? C is small, and it came as in 1970s. At that point of time, if you consider its size and you consider the capacity of computers at that point of time, then you will be pretty easily able to understand why C was popular at that time. Now, when Stroustrup was developing C++, he was very smart. He made a very smart move here, that he made C++ backward compatible with C. If Stroustrup wouldn't have made backward compatible C++, if C++ would not have been backward compatible, then probably C++ would not have been as popular as it is. And like C, it was the right tool at right time. There were tons of code written, lots of code written in C. So when C++ came, people can use that much code written in C. So you don't need to invest your time and money, effort, and you don't need to change technology that much. Now, if you consider the programming paradigm, C provided structured programming when it was needed. C++ provided OOP and generic programming when it was needed. The paradigms like structured programming or generic or OOP, they are needed to solve problems. In 1970, the complexity of problems was much less than the complexity which came in 1985. So you needed a far more complex tool. C++ provided that. Now you may ask, if C and C++ are very good, then why Java and PHP are more popular on the website? You see, when Java came, it provided you a huge library, and its language is much simple. Java as a language is much more simple. So PHP also provided a big library, Python provided a big library. There are other advantages also. Java uses a garbage collection, so you don't have to worry about your malloc and new and delete. That's one of the big advantages of Java. Now Python and PHP, they are kind of PHP is loosely typed, kind of dynamic, not really dynamic but kind of dynamic. Python provided you dynamic programming. So these are productivity gains. Now if you look at the C99 specification and the latest C11 specification, or the latest C++ 1x specification, they have also included more and more libraries to their repository. If you see Java, Python, PHP, they mostly dominate in the web market. C++ never had a global library for web market since beginning. If there would have been one, if Stroustrup would have developed a global library for web development, then yes, I think C++ would have dominated the web market. Even now today, I know there are certain tools like CPP, CMS and Web Toolkit.eu provides a witty framework. Those are C++ frameworks and quite good. They are quite good. So you see, the idea is you provide the right tool at right time. Consider I give you an exabyte library and some programming language with some programming language, let's say C++, for the sake of it. Let's say C++ gives you 1 exabyte library today, okay, which can do almost anything for you by making an object and invoking a method on it. So will you be able to take it? Will your machine support it? No. So unless you have the need of that complex tool, you won't use it. So this is how the languages have evolved, and that's it. In my next video I will start with C programming, and I'll continue my tutorial on Qt Creator. We will start with the basics of C, and as we will see more complex programs, we will also learn more complex constructs of CMake, because what I have shown till now in my Qt Creator tutorial is only 2 or 3 constructs if I remember. So hope to see you again. Thanks for watching the video. Goodbye.